This conference will now be recorded.
Welcome friends. Today is third session of Red Hat Linux 8 free webinar series, and these are my things. So I'm not going into that. So today I will tell you about the Linux architecture. Yesterday I have shown how to install the Linux Red Hat 8 on VirtualBox 6. So I hope you guys like it. And today I will discuss about Linux architecture. So you can see this diagram. We have the hardware, then kernel, then shell, then application, and surrounding by the users. Okay, so this is the first things, and then kernel, and then shell, and then application. So if suppose user is using application, so application will go to shell, shell will communicate with to kernel, kernel will communicate to the hardware, and then hardware will tell to this kernel, and then shell, and then application, and then user will get the output. So this is the way these things done internally. Okay. And applications, compilers, date, grep, cd, vi, whatever you are user is doing, that will come under the applications and utility, and after that shell, then kernel, then hardware. Okay, so this is the internal architecture of Linux. And if I say about in terms of language, so the hardware is basically consist of all physical devices which are attached to the system. Like the base is hard disk. Without hard disk, you can't do anything. Then to do the task, we require RAM, motherboard, CPU. So these are the hardware things. So basically these are the layers. Okay, and kernel is the core component for any operating system or Linux I'm talking about. So basically it directly interact with the hardware. So without kernel, sorry, communication will not happen. So that's why kernel is also very important part. And then shell is basically the interface where user write or give the input. Okay, and then it will go to the kernel, means instruction sent to the kernel, and then kernel will communicate to the hardware, and then hardware will send back to the output, and then from kernel it will goes to the shell. Like this it will work. And applications basically are the utility program which runs on shell. So it can be your web browser, media player, text editor, whatever you are doing on your operating system, that is called as applications. That is you are using actually. So these are the four layers of Linux architecture. And if I say component, so we have three components. One is kernel, then system library, and system utility. Okay, so if you see this diagram, so here this system libraries, kernel modules. Okay, and this is system software, this is user utility, and compilers. So these are the applications. Okay, so user is using these applications, and then it comes to this way. And hardware, I have CPU, RAM, and input output, means read or write. Okay, so what is kernel? As I said, kernel is the code part of Linux. It is responsible for all major activity of operating system, and it consists various module, and it interacts directly with the hardware. And basically kernel provides the required abstractions to hide low level hardware details to the system or application programs. And system libraries are special functions or programs basically that are used to implement the functionality of operating system. So system libraries are very important. So libraries implement most of the functionality of the operating system, and they do not require kernel module code access rights. Okay, so system libraries are those, and system utility is the program which actually provides the functionality of an operating system to the user. So this is the difference between system library and system utility. System library will implement the functionality of the operating system, and system utility will provide the functionality of operating system to the user. So these three components are Linux system components. Okay. So this is basic architecture of Linux. I didn't added too many things so that you will get confused or you will get bored. So my focus is just tell the little theory and concept, and my more focus on practicals. So yesterday I have configured the machine. Now I will show more practical, and between that I will show tell the theory also, so that you can better understand the things, because theory is also important for understanding any components or operating system or whatever. Okay, so that's it, guys. uh, Thank you, and you can contact me from these links, and you have questions you can write to me. And my next session will be on Linux file system. So without understanding the file system, we cannot understand the Linux. So my next session will be on file system. So file system is very important. It starts from slash, that we called as root or base, and after that a various file system comes, and every file system has unique functions and has the purpose by that operating system actually perform certain tasks. Okay, so file system is very important. So guys, don't miss the next session, and watch it. And I'm trying to make short videos so that you can watch it full. And if you like it, then subscribe, comment, and share in your circle, so that many people can get the benefit. Okay, thank you.